Have you ever wondered why you feel so tired during the day, yet find yourself wide awake at night, staring at the ceiling? You try closing your eyes, counting sheep, maybe even turning on some soft music, but your body just won't settle down. If this sounds familiar, the real culprit might not be your age. It might be your late-night snack. Many seniors assume that poor sleep is just part of getting older. And while it's true that our sleep patterns naturally change with age, what often goes unnoticed is how certain foods can quietly ruin our chances of a good night's rest. That little piece of chocolate after dinner, the spicy leftovers you warmed up at 9 p.m., or even your nightly just 1 cup of decaf coffee, all of it could be sabotaging your sleep more than you realize. As we age, our bodies become more sensitive to what we eat and when we eat it. Digestive systems slow down, our ability to metabolize caffeine or sugar changes, and our internal clock and the circadian rhythm becomes more fragile. Eating the wrong foods at the wrong time can confuse your body, disrupt the release of melatonin, and lead to everything from restless sleep and vivid dreams to waking up multiple times a night. Let me tell you about Martha, a 75-year-old retired teacher who couldn't figure out why she was waking up every night at 2:30 a.m. sharp. It wasn't until she kept a food journal that she realized something shocking. Every night she had a slice of chocolate cake after dinner. She thought it was harmless, a well-deserved treat. But once she cut it out, her sleep improved dramatically within days. In today's video, we'll uncover 7 common foods and drinks that older adults should avoid late at night. And we're not just talking about junk food. Some of these may surprise you. We'll explain how each item affects your body, share real stories, and offer simple, practical swaps to help you fall asleep faster and wake up feeling truly refreshed. If you've been struggling with insomnia, tossing and turning, or waking up feeling like you barely slept at all, this video is for you. Because a few small changes to your evening routine could be the key to reclaiming deep, healing sleep. I know you are a person who likes to watch videos quietly. If you have not liked and subscribed to the channel, now is a good time to do it because you are a kind person. If the video is helpful, press 1. If the video is not good enough or needs improvement, press 2. Thanks everyone. Now let's get started. Number 1, sugary desserts can disrupt your sleep cycle. For years, Linda, a 70-year-old grandmother from Pennsylvania, had a nightly tradition. After dinner and a bit of evening television, she'd treat herself to a slice of cake or a couple of cookies with a glass of milk. It was her way of winding down, a small comfort before bed. But what she didn't realize was that this sweet habit was slowly turning her nights upside down. Night after night, she would wake up around 2 or 3 a.m., her heart lightly racing and her mind strangely alert. She felt tired, but she couldn't go back to sleep. It wasn't until her doctor suggested keeping a food and sleep diary that the connection became clear. Her sugar-filled desserts were quietly sabotaging her sleep. As we get older, our bodies become more sensitive to fluctuations in blood sugar. When you eat sugary foods like cake, ice cream, pastries, or even sweetened cereals, your blood sugar rises quickly, giving you a short burst of energy. But shortly afterward, your blood sugar can drop just as rapidly, which can trigger a stress response in the body. This crash may cause the release of hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, which can wake you up in the middle of the night and make it difficult to fall back asleep. Your body thinks it's in danger, when in reality, it's just responding to the roller coaster of sugar you fed it earlier. That sudden nighttime alertness you feel isn't random. It's often your body responding to a drop in glucose levels. Some people experience restless legs, vivid dreams, or even night sweats as a result. Others, like Linda, simply wake up and can't understand why they're not sleeping through the night. What's tricky is that the connection to sugar often goes unnoticed, especially when the sweet snack happens hours before bedtime. Sugary desserts can also interfere with your body's natural production of melatonin, the hormone that helps regulate sleep. A high intake of sugar may suppress melatonin levels or delay its release, making it harder for your brain to wind down. In other words, sugar doesn't just spike your energy, it confuses your internal clock. But here's the good news. You don't have to give up dessert completely. It's all about when and what you eat. If you love a little something sweet after dinner, try eating it earlier in the evening, ideally at least 3 hours before bedtime. Even better, switch to natural sources of sweetness that don't spike blood. Sugar as dramatically. Fresh fruit like berries or a sliced apple with a bit of almond butter can satisfy your craving without the crash. Greek yogurt with cinnamon or a banana sprinkled with a few chopped walnuts are also great choices. These options contain nutrients like magnesium and tryptophan, which may actually help you sleep better. Linda decided to swap her nightly cake for a bowl of unsweetened yogurt with blueberries. Not only did she sleep more soundly, but she also started waking up feeling more refreshed and less groggy. It was a small shift with a big impact, and it gave her back the kind of rest she hadn't felt in years. If you're someone who enjoys a sweet treat at night, ask yourself this: how do you feel afterward? Do you fall asleep easily, but wake up feeling wired in the early hours? Does your body feel restless or your dreams unusually vivid? If the answer is yes, sugar might be part of the reason. Sleep is a gift, and what you eat in the hours before bedtime plays a powerful role in how well you rest. By being mindful of your dessert habits, you're taking a meaningful step toward protecting one of your most valuable health assets, your sleep. Next, let's take a closer look at something else many people enjoy after dinner: a little bit of chocolate. It might seem harmless, but it could be hiding a secret ingredient that's keeping you wide awake. Stay with me for number 2. Number 2, chocolate might be hiding caffeine. For many people, especially those in their golden years, a small piece of chocolate in the evening is more than just a treat. It's a little comfort, a reward, a habit tied to moments of peace and routine. That was the case for Roger, a 73-year-old widower who had one square of dark chocolate after dinner every night. It helped him relax, made him feel a little indulgent, and gave him something to look forward to during quiet evenings. But what Roger didn't know was that his innocent ritual was quietly interfering with his sleep. Despite feeling tired at bedtime, he often lay awake for hours, his mind drifting restlessly from one thought to another. What he didn't realize until much later was that his nightly chocolate was packed with a stimulant that he thought he had already said goodbye to: caffeine. Chocolate, especially dark chocolate, contains natural compounds like caffeine and theobromine, both of which can stimulate the nervous system. While it doesn't contain as much caffeine as a cup of coffee, for someone over 60, even small amounts can have a surprisingly strong effect. As we age, our bodies process caffeine more slowly, meaning it stays in the bloodstream longer and can have a greater impact on sleep patterns. A piece of dark chocolate at 7 or 8 p.m. might not seem like a big deal, but if it keeps your brain alert until midnight, it's costing you precious hours of deep restorative rest. Theobromine, another compound in chocolate, is often overlooked but plays a major role in this equation. It acts similarly to caffeine by increasing heart rate and stimulating the central nervous system, which can lead to restlessness, racing thoughts, or even a slight feeling of anxiety. If you've ever had chocolate and then found yourself oddly energized or unable to quiet your mind at bedtime, theobromine may be the reason. Roger's experience is not uncommon. Many seniors don't connect their late-night chocolate to their disrupted sleep. Because chocolate is marketed as a calming indulgence and not a beverage like coffee or tea, it flies under the radar. But the science is clear. The caffeine and theobromine in chocolate can delay sleep onset, reduce overall sleep time, and impact the quality of REM sleep, the stage of sleep most important for memory, mood, and cognitive health. The solution isn't to completely give up chocolate unless you choose to. The key is timing and portion. If you enjoy chocolate, try eating it earlier in the day, perhaps after lunch instead of after dinner, and be mindful of the type. Milk chocolate typically has less caffeine than dark chocolate, but it still contains sugar, which brings its own set of sleep-disrupting effects. Alternatively, consider switching to naturally sweet, caffeine-free options in the evening, such as a warm cup of herbal tea, a handful of berries, or a slice of banana. Roger eventually made the switch to chamomile tea with a dash of honey, and he was surprised by how much calmer he felt at bedtime. Within a week, his sleep improved significantly, and he no longer spent his nights watching the clock or flipping through TV channels trying to get tired. If you're someone who loves chocolate after dinner, ask yourself, could it be the reason your nights feel longer than they should? Have you ever considered how even a small piece might be enough to keep your brain too busy for sleep? The choices we make in the evening echo through the night. By becoming more aware of what we're putting into our bodies, even something as beloved as chocolate, we give ourselves the opportunity to sleep more soundly, think more clearly, and wake up feeling genuinely refreshed. Coming up next, let's talk about another beverage many people think is harmless in the evening: coffee, including decaf. You might be surprised by how long caffeine can linger in your system. Stay tuned for number 3. Number 3, caffeine is not just in coffee. For many seniors, enjoying a warm drink in the evening is part of a comforting routine. Whether it's a steaming cup of tea while reading a good book or a small mug of coffee during a late-night chat with a loved one, the ritual feels harmless, even relaxing. That was certainly true for Alice, a 76-year-old who took pride in her evening cup of decaf. She had given up regular coffee years ago after realizing it made her jittery, but she missed the flavor and warmth. Decaf, she thought, was the perfect compromise. But as the weeks went on, she started having more and more trouble falling asleep. She would lie in bed staring at the ceiling, tired but wired, unsure of why her mind wouldn't settle. It wasn't until her grandson looked up the label on her coffee and pointed something out that she finally saw the issue. Her decaf still had caffeine. It surprises many people to learn that decaffeinated coffee isn't completely caffeine-free. In fact, an average cup of decaf can contain anywhere from 2 to 15 milligrams of caffeine, depending on the brand and brewing method. While that might seem like a small amount, for someone over the age of 60, it can be more than enough to interfere with sleep. As we age, the body's ability to metabolize caffeine slows down. What used to clear out of your system in 4 hours might now take 8 or even 10. That means a cup of coffee, even decaf, at 7 p.m. could still be affecting your brain well past midnight. And it's not just coffee. Many teas, soft drinks, energy waters, and even certain medications contain caffeine. Green and black teas are common culprits. Some over-the-counter pain relievers include caffeine as a way to enhance their effect, which might help with headaches during the day, but leave you sleepless at night. Even that square of caffeine-free chocolate you had with your tea might be adding to the problem, as we explored earlier. The way caffeine affects the body is often misunderstood. It doesn't just keep you awake. It suppresses the release of melatonin, the hormone that tells your body it's time to wind down. It also increases alertness, heart rate, and brain activity, all of which make it harder to relax and to sleep. And for older adults who already deal with fragmented sleep, early waking, or nighttime anxiety, caffeine only adds another layer of disruption. Alice decided to experiment by switching her evening decaf to a naturally caffeine-free herbal tea. She tried chamomile, then lemon balm, and eventually fell in love with a lavender blend that made her feel calm and centered. Within just a few nights, her sleep improved. She stopped lying awake for hours and began drifting off gently, often before she even finished her last chapter. If you're someone who enjoys a warm drink before bed, take a closer look at what's really in your cup. Have you checked the label? Are you sure your decaf is truly low in caffeine? Do you drink tea thinking it's soothing without realizing it might be keeping you up? It's easy to overlook, but so important to consider. Our evening habits have a direct impact on the quality of our rest. By swapping out caffeine for calming alternatives, you're not just improving your sleep. You're supporting your heart, your brain, and your entire well-being. Next, let's turn our attention to something a bit spicier. You may enjoy a little heat in your meals, but when it comes to late-night eating, spicy foods could be setting your digestive system and your sleep on fire. Let's talk about it in number 4. Number 4, spicy foods trigger heartburn and night discomfort. For Thomas, a 72-year-old retired firefighter, spicy food had always been a source of joy. Hot chili, jalapeno-laced salsa, peppered steak. The spicier, the better. He had built up a tolerance over the years and saw no reason to stop. After all, a little heat never hurt anyone, right? But over time, Thomas began noticing something strange. He would enjoy his spicy dinner as usual, feel fine for an hour or two, and then lie down to sleep, only to wake up feeling like something was burning in his chest. He tried raising his pillows, taking deep breaths, even walking around the house in the dark, but the sensation kept returning. Eventually, a doctor diagnosed him with acid reflux, made worse by spicy food, and made most uncomfortable at night. Spicy foods are notorious for triggering heartburn, indigestion, and acid reflux, especially when eaten late in the evening. As we age, the muscle at the base of the esophagus, called the lower esophageal sphincter, can weaken. This muscle acts like a one-way valve, preventing stomach acid from flowing back up into the esophagus. When it weakens or relaxes too much, acid can escape, causing that burning sensation known as heartburn. Spicy foods, particularly those containing chili peppers, black pepper, garlic, and onions, stimulate acid production in the stomach. Combined with a reclining position, this makes it more likely for acid to creep upward, disrupting not only your comfort, but your ability to sleep. Nighttime reflux isn't just unpleasant, it's dangerous. When stomach acid repeatedly enters the esophagus, it can cause long-term damage to the tissue, increase the risk of ulcers, or lead to chronic coughing and sore throats. Many seniors experience this discomfort without fully understanding its connection to what they had for dinner. That sensation of burning in the throat, the sour taste in the mouth, or the need to sit upright at 2 a.m. These are all signs that your digestive system is struggling with what you ate. Thomas, for example, had no idea his favorite spicy chili was keeping him awake. Once he started paying attention, he realized that on the nights he ate milder foods, he slept more soundly. He didn't have to give up spicy food entirely. He simply learned to enjoy it earlier in the day, giving his body more time to digest before bedtime. Dinner became lighter and less fiery, and the improvement in his sleep was immediate. If you're someone who enjoys spicy meals but struggles with sleeping through the night, consider the timing and intensity of your food choices. Even something as simple as a spicy dipping sauce or a bit of hot mustard can be enough to trigger reflux in sensitive individuals. You might find that switching to milder ingredients or eating your main meal earlier in the day makes a big difference. Incorporating cooling foods like steamed vegetables, whole grains, and gentle broths in the evening can soothe your digestion instead of overstimulating it. Sleep and digestion are deeply connected. When one is disturbed, the other suffers too. By giving your digestive system the support it needs, especially in the evening hours, you're not only protecting your comfort, but also setting the stage for a deeper, more restorative sleep. Have you ever found yourself sitting up in bed after a spicy dinner, wondering why you feel a burning sensation that won't go away? Have you blamed age or stress without looking at what was on your plate? You're not alone, and you're not powerless. Next, we'll explore another group of foods that seem innocent enough, but can be heavy hitters when it comes to nighttime discomfort. Fried foods. Let's dive into that in number 5. Number 5. Fried foods are heavy and hard to digest at night. Gloria, a 71-year-old former diner waitress, had always loved the taste of crispy, golden fried foods. Fried chicken, onion rings, French fries. These were staples in her kitchen, especially on nights when she didn't feel like cooking anything too complicated. There was something comforting about the crunch, the flavor, the warmth. But as the years went by, Gloria noticed something odd. On nights when she had fried food for dinner, her sleep was noticeably worse. She'd go to bed feeling overly full, her stomach bloated and tight. Some nights she would wake up burping or feeling slightly nauseous. Other nights, she simply couldn't fall asleep, like her body was too busy dealing with dinner to let her rest. Fried foods are heavy, dense, and full of fats that take longer to break down in the digestive system. While your body works tirelessly to process everything you eat, it slows down at night to prepare for rest. When you introduce greasy, fried meals late in the evening, you're asking your stomach to do extra work at the exact time it's trying to wind down. This creates a kind of conflict inside your body. Your brain wants to sleep, but your stomach is still digesting a heavy load. Fatty foods, especially those high in saturated fats and trans fats, slow the emptying of the stomach. This can lead to a prolonged feeling of fullness, indigestion, and even discomfort or pain in the upper abdomen, all of which interfere with sleep. For older adults whose digestive systems naturally become less efficient with age, the impact is even more pronounced. What once might have been a harmless late-night indulgence now turns into a full-blown disruption to the body's natural rhythms. Fried foods can also contribute to acid reflux, especially when eaten close to bedtime. The extra fat prompts the stomach to produce more acid, increasing the chance that some of it will escape upward into the esophagus when lying down. That's why many seniors who eat fried food at dinner find themselves propping up pillows, pacing the floor, or reaching for antacids before bed. For Gloria, it wasn't just one kind of fried food, it was the pattern. Even a few fried shrimp or a small serving of hash browns could throw off her entire night. When she decided to switch to baking or grilling her favorite foods instead of frying them, her digestion became smoother and her sleep deeper. She even began experimenting with air frying, which gave her the crispiness she loved without all the oil. Within weeks, she felt lighter, slept better, and didn't wake up with that heavy, uncomfortable feeling in her gut. If you've ever gone to bed feeling like your stomach is still working overtime, consider what was on your plate. Did you have something fried or greasy within 2 hours of lying down? Did you feel overly full or bloated as you tried to sleep? These are signs that your body is asking for something gentler. Try swapping fried foods with roasted vegetables, baked chicken, or lightly sautéed fish. Soups made with fresh ingredients can also be comforting and easy on the stomach. By giving your digestive system a break at night, you allow your body to focus on what it needs most: healing, restoring, and resting. Have you noticed your sleep feels heavier or more restless after fried meals? Could your dinner choices be working against your desire for a peaceful night? These are important questions to reflect on, especially if sleep has become harder in recent years. Up next, let's explore a surprising one: alcohol. Many people think a nightcap helps with sleep, but it might be doing the exact opposite. We'll talk about it in number 6. Number 6, alcohol may make you sleepy, but not rested. For many years, Robert, a 74-year-old retired mechanic, enjoyed ending his day with a small glass of wine. He believed it helped him fall asleep faster and made bedtime more relaxing. After all, a little nightcap had been part of his routine since his 40s, and it seemed harmless. But over time, Robert began to notice a shift. He would fall asleep quickly, but then wake up around 1 or 2 a.m., restless, dehydrated, and unable to fall back into deep sleep. He would toss and turn, sometimes with strange dreams, sometimes just staring at the ceiling, his body still and his mind strangely alert. It puzzled him. He was tired at night, he went to bed on time, and yet he woke up exhausted the next morning. It wasn't until he mentioned it to his doctor that the connection to alcohol became clear. Alcohol is often misunderstood when it comes to sleep. It does have a sedative effect in the short term. It can help you fall asleep faster by slowing down brain activity. That's why many people feel sleepy or relaxed after a drink. But what most don't realize is that alcohol disrupts the second half of the sleep cycle. As your body metabolizes the alcohol during the night, it actually creates a kind of rebound effect that leads to lighter, more fragmented sleep. This means you may fall asleep fast, but wake up repeatedly without realizing why. Even if you don't fully wake up, your brain isn't entering the deeper stages of sleep, the ones responsible for memory consolidation, physical repair, and true rest. As we age, our bodies process alcohol more slowly. What used to feel like a gentle buzz now lingers in the system longer, making the rebound effect more intense. Alcohol also interferes with REM sleep, the most restorative type of sleep, and increases the likelihood of night sweats, vivid dreams, and frequent trips to the bathroom. For those who already struggle with bladder issues or wake up to use the restroom, even one drink in the evening can amplify the problem. Robert had no idea that his evening glass of wine, which had once helped him relax, was now robbing him of the quality sleep he desperately needed. After learning more, he made a small change. He started enjoying his wine earlier in the day, with dinner instead of before bed. He also began replacing his evening drink with a warm herbal tea, something soothing that supported relaxation without disrupting his sleep cycle. Within a week, he noticed he was waking up less during the night. After 2 weeks, he felt more alert and refreshed in the mornings. The difference, he said, was subtle but powerful, like his body finally had a chance to catch up. If you enjoy alcohol occasionally, you don't necessarily need to give it up entirely, but it's worth paying attention to how it affects your sleep. Try keeping a journal for a week. Write down what you drank, when you drank it, and how you slept that night. You might discover patterns you didn't expect. If you notice that your most restless nights follow an evening drink, that's your body giving you feedback. There are plenty of alternatives to help wind down at the end of the day. Herbal teas like chamomile, valerian root, or lemon balm can promote calm. A warm bath, a quiet book, or even slow stretching or gentle breathing exercises can signal your body that it's time to rest without the side effects of alcohol. Sleep in our later years is too precious to compromise. It affects everything: memory, energy, mood, even the immune system. If something as simple as adjusting when or how much you drink could give you back restful nights, it's a change worth making. Have you ever thought a glass of wine or whiskey was helping you sleep, only to find yourself awake in the middle of the night? Maybe it's time to rethink the role alcohol plays in your evening routine. Next, let's explore something even more sneaky: late-night snacking. Even healthy food can work against your body's natural rhythms if eaten at the wrong time. Let's talk about it in number 7. Number 7. Late-night snacking can throw off your sleep rhythm. For Ellen, a 69-year-old widow who lived alone in a quiet suburban neighborhood, evenings were often the loneliest part of her day. She had dinner around 6, watched her favorite shows until about 9, and then, just before heading to bed, she'd find herself opening the kitchen cabinet. Not because she was truly hungry, but because it had become a habit. A few crackers here, a small bowl of cereal there, maybe even a granola bar. It wasn't much, and she didn't think twice about it. But night after night, Ellen found herself struggling to fall asleep. She'd lie in bed feeling strangely unsettled, sometimes too warm, other times wide awake for no reason she could understand. It wasn't until her daughter visited and gently suggested tracking her nighttime habits that Ellen realized something surprising. Her innocent bedtime snack was disrupting her sleep rhythm. Our bodies are governed by an internal clock known as the circadian rhythm. It tells us when to wake up, when to eat, when to sleep, and when to rest. This rhythm is sensitive to light, temperature, and yes, food. When we eat late at night, especially within 2 hours of going to bed, we send confusing signals to our body. Instead of preparing for rest and slowing down, the body gears up for digestion. Blood flows to the stomach, digestive enzymes go to work, and metabolism increases, all at a time when the body should be calming down for sleep. Even small snacks can shift this rhythm, delaying the release of melatonin, the hormone that helps signal to the brain that it's time for rest. Late-night snacking can also affect blood sugar levels. A carbohydrate-heavy snack can cause a mild spike in blood sugar, followed by a dip a few hours later, which can lead to midnight awakenings, especially if the food was processed or high in sugar. Even healthy foods like whole grain cereal, toast, or fruit can still stimulate digestion and signal wakefulness if eaten too close to bedtime. And for older adults whose digestion naturally slows with age, the impact is often stronger. What feels light and harmless can linger in the stomach, making the body feel busy instead of calm. Ellen, once she recognized the pattern, decided to make a change. She kept her evening routine but set a new cutoff time for eating. Nothing after 7:30 p.m. unless she was genuinely hungry. If she needed something, she chose a small serving of banana or warm almond milk, both of which are gentle on digestion and contain natural compounds that support sleep. Within days, her body adjusted. She fell asleep faster, stayed asleep longer, and woke up feeling more balanced and alert. What had once felt like a harmless habit was quietly robbing her of the deep, healing rest she needed. If you're someone who finds yourself snacking before bed, not out of hunger but out of routine or comfort, it might be worth pausing to ask, is this food helping my sleep or hindering it? Do I feel truly rested in the morning, or am I waking up feeling like I barely slept? Keeping a short journal for a week, writing down what you eat after dinner and how you sleep each night, can reveal connections you hadn't noticed before. Sleep in your later years is delicate, and even the smallest habits can tip the scale. By choosing to end the kitchen visits a little earlier and selecting foods that work with your body, not against it, you're creating an environment where rest can truly happen. Now that we've uncovered 7 common foods and habits that may be stealing your sleep after 60, it's time to wrap everything together. In the conclusion, we'll reflect on what you've learned and share some final thoughts to help you move forward with better nights and brighter mornings. Conclusion. So now that we've explored the 7 most common evening foods and habits that could be quietly stealing your sleep, the message is clear. What you eat, and when you eat it, matters more than you think. Sleep doesn't just happen when your head hits the pillow. It begins hours earlier with the choices you make around dinner, dessert, and your nightly routine. After the age of 60, your body becomes more sensitive. Digestion slows down, metabolism changes, and your brain's sleep-wake signals become easier to disrupt. That slice of chocolate cake, late-night cup of coffee, or spicy dinner might seem harmless, but inside your body may be working overtime just to find balance. And that imbalance often shows up at 2 a.m. in the form of restlessness, heartburn, vivid dreams, or a racing mind. The good news is that you have more control than you might realize. A few simple changes, like avoiding fried and spicy foods at night, choosing herbal teas over caffeine, saying goodbye to late-night snacking, and being mindful of sugar, can dramatically improve the quality of your sleep. And when your sleep improves, everything else tends to follow. Your mood lifts, your energy rises, your memory sharpens, even your immune system gets stronger. Sleep is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself at any age, but especially now, when your body is asking for gentler rhythms and better care. Tonight, as you wind down, take a moment to think about your habits. What small shift could you make today that your body will thank you for tomorrow? Thank you for spending this time with me. I hope you feel encouraged, empowered, and reminded that deep, restful sleep isn't out of reach. It's just a few thoughtful choices away. You deserve to wake up feeling rested, strong, and ready to enjoy every moment of the life you've built. Until next time, take care of yourself and sleep well. We really appreciate you spending time with us today. If you found this video helpful, please don't forget to give it a like and hit that subscribe button. It's a simple way to support our work, and it helps more people discover the tips they need to live healthier, happier lives. And if you want to stay up to date, just click the notification bell so you won't miss any of our future videos. See you again soon.